No, no, don't worry, Sri Vidyaji.
Okay.
Everything is.
Okay. Take it.
This is coming on the way.
All right, we are live on YouTube. So, Lakshmi, we'll start rolling, right?
So how did you find commuting here? Was the traffic okay? Yeah, location is easy, right? Yes, that's the best part. Just get down from the metro. Wonderful. Exactly. From village where
Okay, Lakshmi, we are live and we should start the session, right? We are live on YouTube.
Sure.
Right. So, I will put you in full screen and you can start the welcome and you can start the session, right? Okay, there you are.
Let me share my screen.
Yeah.
Namaste everyone. Good day, good morning, good evening everyone. I hope all of you can hear me and see me both on the offline and online.
Yes.
Excellent.
Online, all
Thank you.
okay.
Thank you so much. So today we welcome you to our third annual event that is specifically focuses on hormone health and especially women's health. And this has been why we choose the hormone and preventive care. The reason is pretty clear, which we are going to see in the coming pages. But before I start the event, I would like to welcome all of you, both again online and offline viewers and participants, and to all our speakers and everyone who is involved in this event. The reason, as we keep saying, this is our third annual event, the reason is pretty clear. Obviously, PCOS, infertility, they are rising. Every household more or less has the metabolic syndrome issues. Whether it could be just diabetes, it could be thyroid. We could name it differently, right? And it is recently the menopause. The numbers is like pandemic. In menopause, every woman go through, right? Whether we want it, we do not want, every woman go through. But do we go with a fight or do we actually facilitate it and enjoy the transition process to our best rather than fighting for it? And of course, what is the challenge right now? The issues are there, the problems are there, diseases could be named as differently, all it is exists by its own. But if we have an awareness session, if you are aware of it, if you are educated about it, then we can definitely prevent to large extent. We can prevent it to a large extent. I repeat one more time, we can prevent it to a large extent. And right now we will see those statistics. Hormones, what are the hormones and why preventive care and lifelong vitality and is important for even for anti-aging, right, from that perspective. Hormones, what are the hormones? They are chemical messengers. Whether somebody actually rings the bell on your door, somebody sends a WhatsApp message, somebody sends you an email, or any kind of a communication system, even in your aeroplane, your flight system, travel transport system, something does not work, we all know the consequence of it, especially in the transport, especially air transport, especially in the flight. But do you imagine if the same communication system fails within your body? How many of us do pay attention to that? How many of us are actually paying attention to that? Probably very, very few of us. So now, from now onwards, start paying attention, start taking close consciousness thought about hormones. More than hormones, it's your messaging system. They impact how you sleep, they impact what's your blood sugar, they impact your weight, and of course, your vitality, your energy, your mental functions, and of course, not to say all our female related problems, all male related problems, right? Whether we say infertility, PCOS, menopause, or it's androgen, andropause, all that. Stress, sleep, everything. We are driven by our hormones, whether we like or don't like it. That is the truth. So how can you prevent it? So here is the stage of our life, from the birth till the death. We go through certain phases. Our cells, they go through certain phases, both in terms of renewal, both in terms of removal. And here I intentionally put a picture of male. Why? Most of us just want to look young, probably today and tomorrow as well, right? And how do we stay? We start aging. And this age impacts our skin, that is our external organ. That is something our branding, right? Before we even speak, our skin, our face speaks. How much do we take care of our facial branding? We do take care of product branding. We do take care of our service branding. But how do you take care of your own branding? With your face, with your skin, with your vitality, with your energy. That even can be read before you even speak, before you even interact. Of course, your body speaks, your energy level, and your brain function. Nowadays, Alzheimer's is picking up. It's type 3 diabetes. Again, it's probably going to be a pandemic. Can we do something about it? And the answer is yes. Thank you. So here is some statistics. Nearly 80% of women experience hormonal imbalance. 80% of women, right? At some stage of 1 in 5 women, I think the number is much more than this, right? They go through the PCOS. And 1 to 3 women, especially in the infertility case, endometriosis. I know currently a lot of my customers who are going through the endometriosis. So that is a challenge. Again, 1 in 3 women, they go through the metabolic syndrome issues. And the numbers are really alarming. By 2030, it's already 26. 2030 is coming very nearby. 1.2 billion women. 1.2 billion women. They will be either going through the menopause or post-menopause. When it is a menopause, your estrogen declines, your brain, heart, your many functions, right? Muscles, quite a lot, they get actually affected. 75% of women experience menopausal symptoms. Yet, as we saw the number, 1.2 billion, from that number by 2030, and if you see, 60% of them, either these hardly seek attention, or even if they don't get a structured care, right? That is so important. Indian women reach menopause 5 years earlier than the global scenario. 5 years earlier. And I'm just bringing statistics because all our speakers will cover it up in detail. What are the things that you need to be aware? What are the things that you can do about it? And of course, not to say all our metabolic syndrome diseases, right? And if you see, they can be preventable. Today, can we focus on that aspect of it? Prevent, so that we don't see those numbers, those statistics. We don't need to know all the statistics if we just take care of only one thing, that is prevention, right? Something that we all are here for. So give a pat on yourself, because today you've taken time. Many of them have actually showed this problem, that problem, all that problem always exists, but we've still given priority to us, priority to our health, our hormonal health, our preventive care health, right? Most importantly, our preventive care health. And of course, stress, It goes without saying. It comes without uninvited. All the time. It comes all the time uninvited. And what can we do? Of course, poor sleep, it affects our brain function because a lot of renewal process happens during that time. And India is becoming home to the world's largest under addressed hormonal health. It's not just worldwide, we are becoming much more in that. We are probably contributing bigger number in that. So these are the some of the numbers. I'm not going to one by one. With that, what I hope I thought at least brought something in your mind. Settle your mindset in terms of why preventive care is important, why lifelong vitality is important, what is the hormones, why they play such a bigger role, right, in our life. And it is not always genetics that we keep complaining, we keep blaming. It is most of the time, 80% of the problems are related to our lifestyle and the environment. So, with that, what I welcome you today again one more time. Here, what we could get from confusion, a lot of things in YouTube, in Google, in ChatGPT, and in your friends in WhatsApp network. That all that we get. No, I hope this evening of 2.5 hours Bling will help you to get some clarity from the confusion state. And from the symptom management, hopefully we'll start to understand, focus on the root cause because that is actually long-term vitality. That is your long-term health. And of course, from the reactive mode, today actually endometriosis happened, periods are irregular, there is enough flow, I cannot even walk. Can I go to the doctors right now? That probably will give you a temporary relief, but it will not help in the long term. So let's take proactive compared to the reactive mode. So with that, let's focus building a healthier community. Even if you take a lot of clarity, lot of action items from this, and you go home, get into your work, in your community, your friend circle, if they are not supportive, we cannot literally at the end of the day, we cannot make a healthier community. Right? That is so important. That's why today Harmanji and we and so many of us, Divyaji, all of us are putting an effort to make sure that we are building a healthier community. So, with that, I welcome you to today's evening and why we are here. I hope it's so clear to all of you. With that, Harmanjit, over to you.
So thank you so much, Dr. Lakshmi. It was a brilliant
Just one, just
introduction.
1 minute. Just 1 minute. We will set up.
All right. So just give me a thumbs up whenever it is set up, and yeah. Dr. Hitesha, welcome on the panel. You are looking lovely as always.
Thank you.
Great. All right. So
Hi, Hitisha.
as
So, Harmanjit, right now camera is set. Can you see?
yes,
People are still coming in. They are stuck in traffic as usual. The messages are keep
I
pouring.
can
They can't
understand.
come in.
I can understand. So on my behalf, I welcome everybody. My name is Harmanjeet Rekhi. I am an ex-merchant navy officer. The first question that everybody's asked me is that why is a man speaking about menopause? What do you know about menopause? And I've always tried to answer this question. Menopause, perimenopause is not just a her problem. It is not a problem in the first place. It is the entire family's responsibility to take care of the lady of the house. And what usually happens is that when we start to look at all these information, all the information, all these videos, all that exists on the internet, we don't really understand whether it is for us. Because how do you connect to that? That's the bigger problem. Is it supposed to be absorbed by you? Is it something for you? You're always at a cross section where probably the left choice would have been a better choice after you've turned right. And that is why conversations like these, small little events like these become very important. Because there comes a moment in life when you have tried everything outside. You've tried the right diet, you've tried the right doctor, you've tried the right routine, the right advice, everything. And yet something within still feels unsettled. Because healing was never meant to be chased outside. It was always a return, a quiet, gentle return inwards, back to the body that has been whispering to you long before it started screaming. And why should you go to a doctor when you are at the screaming, shouting mode, when your body is there? Back to the breath you need to be focusing on. We forgot to notice breath. We forgot to notice those pauses that we were supposed to be taking. And we live in a world that teaches us to fix, to fight, to force. But somehow the body does not respond to force. It responds to safety. And this circle of whosoever is watching today, whoever is attending this, we are trying to build safety again and tell ourselves that yes, we are safe enough. It responds to stillness. It responds to listening. Healing begins the moment you stop asking what is wrong with me. And when you start asking, what is my body trying to tell me? Because every symptom is not a problem, it is a message. Every discomfort is not your enemy, it is your teacher. And somebody who taught me this is sitting right in the first row, Dr. Soni. I remember she told me, she says, every discomfort, don't consider it your enemy. And the answers you are searching for, they are not hidden in another product, another prescription, another promise. They're already within you, in your rhythms, in your intuition. And we'll be talking a lot about intuition today. In that quiet inner knowing that you've been always ignoring. Healing is not about becoming someone new. It is about remembering who you already were, who you already are before the noise took over. The world's noise just kind of started to clamber over you before the stress, before the conditioning. So all I want to, kind of leave you with a thought is slow down. Let us just slow down. And let us just learn to breathe. One important factor that we've always looked at in this collective of ours is emotional suppression. So I want Sri Vidya ji to come in and talk about emotional suppression. Is it actually a thing, or is it just one of those fancy words, fancy languages that we've given to something, which is inside you, which is troubling you? Emotional suppression. Sri Vidya ji, I want you to come in with this.
Harmanji, can you just highlight her?
Yeah.
Thank you.
Now, can you try, please? Yeah. Please go ahead. Please go ahead.
Okay. Namaste, everyone. Harmanjit ji has asked me to speak about suppression. Is it fancy? Absolutely not. Let me just start with a definition of what is suppressing. When we consciously or unconsciously push down or hold back feelings of anger, of fear, of frustration, of sadness, instead of expressing it or processing it. This is suppression. When we suppress these things, it gets accumulated in our body, and then afterwards, we end up with so many physical manifestations of this. We do not correlate it. And when a woman is already going through something like perimenopause or menopause, with all the estrogen decline, the hormonal fluctuations, this is something that she has to deal with even more. But this is not just for females. Suppression of emotions is also for men. We females, at least, we will cry it out, so our pressure is off. But men, they tend to bottle it up. And that's not very healthy either. And today, this is happening even more because we don't have any space, safe space to vent it out. We don't have a tribe to sit with and chat about this. You can't just, douse it down with alcohol. It doesn't help. Even men need to find an outlet to safely bring this to the table and process it. So it's not just for females, but for females with her hormonal fluctuations, it becomes even more difficult. So if actually I can't see the audience, but let me just say this: is any of you resonating with this? Maybe Lakshmi ji can give me a thumbs up. I handle everything, but inside I feel constantly pressured. I rarely express my anger. I can't remember the last time I fully felt relaxed. And I totally feel disconnected with my family lately. Anyone nodding their heads or saying yes? Lakshmi ji? You're muted, ji. Yeah, okay. Yeah, so there are a few people.
So, Harmanji, actually, can you spotlight Srividya ji? We are not seeing the spotlight. You are on mute.
You're on mute, please.
Yeah, now we can.
Now it's okay?
Now it's okay.
All right, please go ahead.
Yes.
So there were a few reactions. Lakshmi ji?
Yes, there were very few reactions. You please continue. I'm 100% sure there will be some more reactions.
All right. So some of these people are chronically internally pressurized. So their line in their head is, I have to hold it together. So I'm the only one who can hold it together. There are people who feel this way. For these people, the physical manifestations would be panic attacks, migraines, and fatigue. There are some females who will suppress their anger and their frustration a lot. These people, their physical manifestations are again migraines, jaw and neck tension, and then, of course, gut issues. Anger is a very harmful emotion to harbor inside of you. So, the more sooner you get it out of you, bring it out on the table and process it, the better, because it really starts affecting all the organs inside. It's a shock. It's like there are so many doctors on the panel right now, and they would understand, like when we get injections, it shocks the body actually. But the fever does come down, and we are so used to that kind of a treatment. But it should actually, this is the kind of shock that even anger does. It really shocks up the system. So please try to process your anger as much as possible. That is the most unsafe emotion, because from childhood we are just not taught how to deal with anger, to safely vent it out. Rather, we say, nay, we shouldn't get angry. It's not a right thing to do. We're conditioned. And that condition, we grow up with it. So please, when it's about anger, bring it out. The other pattern that is seen is hypervigilance. We're always on the alert mode. I have to keep doing this. I have to take care of the family. My boss is expecting this. This presentation is there. We're just so on cortisol. We become cortisol junkies, actually. So that is something which, again, we have to process. And these things come out again as panic attacks or poor quality of sleep. Anybody who wakes up around 2:30 to 3:30, this is the time. Why do we wake up? If your question is, then it's because during the whole day, whatever we have not processed, it starts coming out at that time when the body is relaxed. And then we're immediately back on a cortisol spike and we're up. So we don't have our full sleep. And according to Chinese medicine, the 3 o'clock time is when the lungs are active. They are under repair and rejuvenation. And if that is the time you do wake up, that means you harbor a lot of grief inside of you. This is Harmanjit's favorite word. But yeah, it's because you have grief and you haven't dealt with it. So some of the things that I do with my clients is I give them the option of taking bark remedies, bark flower remedies. So with that, what is bark flower remedies? They are remedies that help on the mind and emotions. That's their main arena. They focus only on the mind and the emotion. But mind is what causes the physical, the accumulation of all the emotions is what causes the physical manifestations of disease. So that is there only because of your mind and your emotions. They aren't processed. They end up as your physical symptoms.
Mm.
So some of the things that can help women is if you're typically one of those nervous, fearful kind of people, then something called mimulus. This is a bark remedy, and it's available in homeopathy pharmacies. A lot of pharmacies do stock it, and it is also taken as the same globule format as homeopathy is. They also have the drop format in alcohol. So it's available at your pharmacies, and you can easily go and pick it up whenever if you have a need for it. Um, if you are someone who's easily irritated, and you want to hurry up the children, let me finish off everything, with that type of go 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 kind of a person, then you need something called impatience. If you are someone who is so moody and self pity is over there, then something called willow helps you.
So
So
basically, what you're trying to tell is, what you're trying to say here is that there exists a bark flower remedy for every sort of an emotional state, correct?
true.
And where do these emerge from? Who made these? Where did this emerge from? Was it a part of Ayurveda or is it a part of homeopathy?
Well, it is actually something that Dr. Edward Bach brought this out. He's from England, well, at least was from England. He's no more. But for him, he was a proper allopath doctor, and he wasn't satisfied with why the people are coming back. So he left his practice in London, and he went back to Scotland. So that's where he has his center as well.
So
And
basically,
he
what we're
worked with,
trying to what we're trying to establish here, Shri Vidyaji, is that for everything there exists, for every emotional state, for every emotional disorder, for every emotional difficulty, there exists a Bhakta remedy. But I would want to go further than that. I would want to go one step ahead than that. I want to bring in Lyndon onto the panel. Lyndon. And we are not done with you, Shri Vidyaji. I'll come back to you for this. Lyndon, when you say that,
Yeah.
when you say that You've been experienced as an embodiment mentor, a signal literacy expert for more than 35 years. This is huge jargon, right? This is a very big word. I didn't understand it. Help me understand this.
Okay. Okay. Well, embodiment is a very big thing because, especially in the business, it's a professional sector, sector, national sector. People are burning out, and burnout is my speciality, really. And I work a lot with burnout problems. So what's happening is people are really inhabiting their mind and going round and round in circles. I think we all have experienced the looping mind. You get a thought and it just goes round and round and round. You can't stop it. Perhaps sleep as a result. And so when people in positions of power, leaders and so on, start to loop and lose sleep and so on, then trouble with their team, with their organization. And it's epidemic, really, at the moment in corporate world and in the business world. And so I'm working to bring people back to their bodies, because mind, and I'm afraid I call it the limited mind, brilliant but limited.
So, Lyndon, I'll just ask you to pause here. I'll just ask you to pause here because we have an audience. We have an audience who is well experienced in every aspect of burnout. Am I right in asking you this? I mean, should I be rephrasing my words, Divya ji, Dr. Soni, everybody who is attending this? Have you ever experienced burnout in your work duty? If you can just raise your hands, if possible. Yeah, I see a lot of hands go up. So, what do you experience? What do you experience, Lyndon? What do you experience when? How would you know that yes, this is burnout we are talking about? This is not something else. This is not something on a casual mode that we are looking at.
Lots of suffering. So people there, they say, my boss is repeating all the time. So he's
We are not able to
asking me to
hear her
do something,
properly.
then
Harmanji, you are on mute.
So like to inform the audience. Lyndon joins us from Tokyo at this point of time. There's a slight storm that's there, so probably that's why she is missing out on the her audio. Probably, Lyndon, what we can do is we can switch off your camera and we can try just the audio stream. If you can do that, just need to improvise on that, right? No. All right, so we'll come back to Lyndon a little while after that. I mean, this was a beautiful conversation that was growing, but somehow her video is not really up to the mark at this moment. Sri Vidya ji, in your opinion, what is burnout from a psychotherapy perspective? What is burnout?
Okay. burnout is what I have seen in my clients is when they come, they have, like Lyndon was saying, they have been looping over thoughts again and again, but they haven't taken a decision what they want to do with it. So that whole thinking process itself burns them out. Yeah, and because of this, they are stuck. They're not moving forward in any way. This is
So,
some of the
do you have any remedy for this in Bach flower? Does
yeah. So
this?
people who are experiencing burnout, they do not sleep very well. They have so many thoughts going on that it doesn't allow them to rest. They have no peaceful sleep. So for that, it depends if the person is expressive about it. Does he talk to his friends or his family about it? Then something like white chestnut is given. And if it's a person who is not someone who speaks about anything, just holds it inside, hey, I'm fine, that sort of a picture he wants to always portray, then at that time, agrimony is something that helps. So
So
you just,
now, let's say you have spoken about what can be done about burnout. Divya ji, if you are there, I would want you to come on the podium. Divya ji,
Yes,
what does burnout? What's the root cause for that? What is the root cause analysis for that? Burnout. And number one, so before you begin, I would want to kind of understand, are there any patterns that are already there and they are actually living in your expertise of work? You are a shadow work specialist, you're an inner child specialist. Can you explain what is all this? I mean, this is fine. I've heard a couple of times from you. That's how I know. But I would want you to kind of explain that. What is shadow work? What are inner child patterns? How does burnout somehow start to come out from all this, previous patterns that are there?
Okay, first of all, I'm so glad to be here standing in front of all scientists and doctors. I'm neither scientist nor a doctor. So my language is definitely going to be a different, and I'm glad about that. So as you have asked Harmanji to talk about the shadow work, so instead of giving you a very hardcore definition, picture this. There are the moments in our lives wherein, we think that no, this is not the way we should be behaving. Probably take anger. For example, every time we get triggered, we get frustrated, or we get angry on anything, and after the situation ends, we say no, we should not be behaving like that. But every time the same situation happens, the same thing triggers, and our reaction never changes. It is always after the situation has ended, we think about it and think, okay, fine, we will not be doing that. Though we know that we should not be doing it repeatedly, but that loop continues. So what it is causing that loop? What it is causing those areas where we feel we need to work on, we need to improve on, right? So whenever we see the anger, the anxiety, first of all, here I would like to tell that these are not a disease. These are just the symptom of some root causes coming from very long time back. So in the psychological term, if I have to tell what is the shadow work exactly is, shadow is basically suppressed emotion, disowned part of ourselves. For example, remember your childhood. As a kid, we all are born as a plain, clean slate, as it is, right? But for the same situation, I have a different perception, you have a different perception, you have a different perception. We all behave and we all react and we all respond in a very different manner. Why? Right? Because in the early years, go back and think about your childhood time. We were always told, right? Tell me, I would love to understand it from you people, that if you resonate with this thing or not. This is the way we should be behaving. This is the way we should behave. This is the way to sit. This is the way to do certain things. Either it is for our studies, or even for our dressing sense, or even with the talking ways, like this is the correct way to talk, this is not is the correct way to talk. There are a lot of compartments, right, wherein in our families there are the check-ins and there are the cuts, right? So what it is happening, I always give this analogy of a palace. Think of a big palace, many, many rooms, right? As in a child, we are enthusiastic and we run to explore each and every room. But slowly what happens is this, after exploring 2, 3, 4 rooms, probably you are trying to open some other room and hear a voice. Oh, please don't open that door. Let the door be closed. And because we are so little, our parents, our family people are the one to whom we follow. Correct? Right or wrong? Right? And we don't open that door. And in this process, what happens is this, that out of those 500, 600, 100 rooms, whatever the rooms are there, we end up only exploring few. And those are the traits on which our personality forms. That defines our perceptions, that defines our outlook, that how we are responding and reacting at the same. There's a big difference between reaction and responding, right? That defines us. And those suppressed, closed rooms of the palaces are our shadows. The emotions which has never got chance or the proper environment to emote. Right? Now, the next part is the inner child pattern. So, inner child pattern is a, if I have to explain, it is a loop. There are the triggers, then there are the reactions, and then there is an outcome. That outcome affirms that, okay, fine, this is the correct way to move on, and it gets cemented. What exactly here we are doing is this, that when we start forming these patterns, actually these patterns are really useful and good, but up till a certain time. What happened here is this, now if as a child we are being told something to do like this or that, so our nervous system is adopting it, right? It is understanding it, okay fine, this is the way if I behave, I'll be accepted, I'll be, this is the way of my growth, right? However, after a certain point of time, probably we will not be needing it. For example, if I have to give a real life example, we receive, or any of you, if you resonate, please do raise the hand. I would love to find that, resonating happening here. That if there is a text message comes, or if we are waiting for some people's text message to receive, in either of the case, how keenly we are waiting for other person to respond us back, or how we are keen to respond the other person back, in either ways, right? Why? Even the little bit of the delay create panic within us, right? Why it is happening? It is just a message. It can wait for a while, but no, this is something boiling in us, right? Not necessarily to everyone, but to few. Not necessarily on every text, but on few. Why it is happening? So why it is happening to us, right? We never think about it. I want you guys, everyone sitting here, to think about it now. Why it happens is this, the people, those who are love to over-explain, always available. There is nothing wrong in being always available or keeping your point of view clearly in front of anyone. But when to understand that here is a boundary, not to cross this, to explain any further. When, right? So, if in the childhood, if as a kid, you have to put more effort to prove yourself, fine, I am this, or I can do this, to prove your acceptability, probability are very, very high that as you will grow up, you will become a people pleaser, over explaining personality. So there is no harm in it. But we need to understand and learn that after a certain point of time, this trait of over explaining is not required and probably not every situation. So then these
That's a very
patterns.
valid. That's a very
Yes.
valid point, Divyaji. That's a very valid point. Now, that brings us to something deeper. You see, it's not that we've been doing it out of choice, but it is an unconscious thing that we've been doing. What is the cost of this unconscious effort? What is the cost of this particular unconscious pattern? What I presume is it keeps carrying on generation after generation. My nani could not deal with a certain thing, it automatically came into my mother. My mother could not resolve that, and that's how it came into me and my sibling. I'm just giving an example, but that's exactly how it starts to flow from generation to generation. And this generation, we've been hearing about this whole generational trauma and generational baggage. These are very fancy words these days. Everybody uses this. My daughter, she's 12 years of age. She was using trauma the other day. I said, excuse me, would you know anything about it? I want to bring somebody who's been working for more than 28 years in this particular thing. Dr. Hitesha Bhatt. Dr. Hitesha Bhatt is a OB-GYN, but at the same time, she is also a menopause psychotherapist. And majority of her work is around this generational trauma, patterns passed through lineage. Am I right in asking you this? Just to kind of explain, what are we speaking about? What is the gravity of this? What is the weight of this, Dr. Hitesha?
Thank you, Harmanji, and good evening, everybody. It is such a pleasure to talk to all of you. So, as Harmanji rightly said, certain things they come as a baggage. We can say we inherit them. So, let me ask you a simple question: like, have you ever reacted in a way? I think.
Yeah,
Have you
please,
ever
please, please.
reacted in a way that that has surprised you? You know, oh, and then you think, oh, this is not me. Why did I react in this way? And later you wonder, where did this come from? I'm not this type of person, right? So this is what is inherited. We don't only inherit our genes. We inherit trauma. We inherit emotions. We inherit feelings. We used to our teacher used to give a very simple example that a simple thing like constipation that runs in family. If a child grows up seeing that two or three people, elders in their family, are constipated and they are constantly worried about their bowel movement, later in their age they too, like they have that fascination that, okay, I should have a proper bowel movement, otherwise my day is worthless. So this is a very simple example, but similarly, emotions and feelings also, like our grandmothers, they used it as a coping mechanism. And then they gave it to our mothers, and then they passed it on to us. And if we don't stop it here, so this
Sir,
is,
let me stop here, interrupt you for a second. Let me ask the same question that you posed to the audience
yeah,
here. How many
yeah,
of them
sure.
you feel that way? No, the motion is not clear in the morning. Throughout the day, you feel that it's because of that. How many of you feel? Huh? Okay. Many of them are nodding out here.
Right.
So this is generational trauma. What is generational trauma? It's not like a single episode of a traumatic episode, but It is a collective of all the experiences and all the things that we face throughout our life, what our elders have faced, and then they kept on coping up with it due to certain reasons. They could not bring it out. And that formed certain behavioral patterns, they formed certain beliefs, they formed certain emotional responses. It can be a guilt trip or it can be a rebellious. Like,
So
oh, I,
how does Dr. Hitesha, again, I mean, taking it a little deeper to this, how does family history shape health and behavior? Right. This is what you're talking about is an emotional, tendency that it goes on. How do you start to uh, kind of bring it into the health and behavior part of it?
yeah. So, see, when we talk of psychosomatic diseases, so not
Hmm.
only the psych, we know that the psych has its direct effect on the mind has its effect on the body. And most of the diseases are now, according to the new DSM definition, most of the diseases are labeled as psychosomatic. So,
What is
the
psychosomatic? May you explain what is
okay,
psychosomatic?
so somatic is what is manifested in the body, and psycho is what is related to the mind. It is that simple. So, uh, even they say cancer, tuberculosis, we know that tuberculosis is caused by a bacteria, right? But see, if there is an open case of tuberculosis in a room and that person is coughing out the bacilli, not all are going to get infected. So we call this immunity. But this immunity has its basis on our psychological and emotional background. Like this has a very important role to play in how a disease will be manifested in our body. And why it is important in midlife? Because by the time a woman reaches her midlife, you know, we are done with the coping mechanism, we are done with the frustrations, the anger keeps on building up. Like, why should I do it always? Why is it happening to me? And these types of questions, they keep on coming, and they are sometimes manifested as what we call mood swings. So, mood swings is nothing but unprocessed history which wants itself to be seen.
So
So,
that
when
means
we,
what you're saying is that all this
yeah,
perimenopause thing, that you have brain fog and mood swings, this is not exactly some symptom to be treated, but you should be able to look inwards and say that okay, probably this is something to do with your psychosomasis, right?
no, they need to be treated. So, when we talk of hormone replacement therapy, it does have a role because the estrogen deficit at the time of menopause, it plays a very vital role in bringing a blast in these emotions. What was sublime till now has now suddenly started manifesting. So, to some extent, medical therapy does help. But
Right.
along with the medical therapy, we need to give psychotherapy so that what does psychotherapy do is it helps in understanding what's going on with me rather than blindly following that this is because of menopause and I'm taking the tablet and I'm going to be all right. No, that's not the thing. We need to look into the unseen baggage, what we say. This is the unseen baggage which we have been carrying, like the unspoken grief. There are so many episodes of grief that has occurred, and we don't like to talk about it. Losses, or we just okay. People say move on, be strong. So yeah, we learn to move
May
on.
I ask?
But
May I ask the
yeah,
audience here? May I ask Dr. Bhatt? I'll just interrupt you for let's say 5 seconds here, and I want
yeah,
to ask the audience. I want uh, let's say whoever's you know watching us right now, you could send us a small little message on YouTube, and whosoever sitting live in Bangalore right now, how many of you are on HRT, or how many have considered HRT till now? Any one who has done that? You could probably raise your hand. None. That's good.
Here I didn't see any, but I know there are a lot of groups there who are focused only on BHRT. So I
Right.
think Dr. Hitesh, I have question, same question in different way. So one thing is that we are focusing on BHRT, which could help. Another part, most important, that what we do see nowadays is psychosomatic is becoming so strong and more predominant reason. So what percentage do you see that it is actually required, or in your practice you see that trend?
I suggest everybody requires a
Everybody
psychosomatic work.
requires.
Us,
No,
yes.
I'm talking about the HRT part. How many
No,
people
no,
do you think?
no, no.
Not really, right?
HRT, no.
That should not be
HRT
the
not.
first option. That should not be the first option.
See, there are very few indications which are the thing where you should take HRT. But it is not the be all and end all. That's what I have seen. Like, it's not going to make you the same person. Because, see, when we talk of these emotional baggages and when we talk of these patterns, it is seen even in men. It is seen even in young people, even in young girls, even in young boys. So it's not that only menopause has to do with this. What we want to do is we want to break this cycle which was passed on to us, and we want to
Yeah.
pass on a legacy to our daughters and to our sons where they will be proud of us. They should not say one day, "Ki, yeah, this is running in my family. I get frustrated, I get agitated because it is running in my family." So that
So
is why we
basically,
want to break the cycle.
what happens is, what I'll probably like to kind of bring it a little bit more realistically. When in the family, children start to address that mama is not the same mama anymore. That is the time when probably we should start looking at, yes, we need to start working on ourselves, right?
Yes,
So
yes,
this is something that I have been questioned quite a lot many times. And this probably is the reason why I want to bring in a concept called metacognition today. Has anybody heard of metacognition in out of you? Anyone, Lakshmi, raising their hands? I can see, of course. All right, so let's do a very simple sort of a practice. Before we begin, I want you to understand something important. I'll just mute you, Lakshmi, and at the same time, I'll just request everybody to put their phones on silent, because now the talkie bit is over, and now we're going to be working on a little deeper level. So it's just a very small request. If you could put your phones on silent, and I want to guide you through a small little meditation. Even the panelists, I would want you to join. So before we begin, understand something very important here. For the next few minutes, nothing outside matters. No roles, no responsibilities, no expectations. You're not here as a mother, a professional, a caregiver. You're simply here as yourself. And that, in my opinion, is good enough. Allow yourself to receive this moment. So is everybody settled now? I mean, do you want to, if possible, I would want you to remove your shoes, just keep them aside, because this is something new that is we're going to try and do.
Harmanji, can the volume be little more increased? People on
Yes,
the
why
back
not?
cannot hear it properly.
Why not? Why not? Now, am I loud and clear to everybody? Perfect. All right.
Also, could you please spotlight yourself?
I should be the last one to be spotlighted. I want the spotlight to be on the audience and all the smiling faces. So, allow yourself now to receive this particular moment. I would want you to gently close your eyes. Everybody just sit down on the chair, wherever you find. Everybody, once you're settled, just gently close your eyes. And let's start working on yourself. So we've spoken quite a lot about working on ourselves and what do you do. Now let's do it. After you've closed your eyes, let your body settle into the chair. Not rigid, just supported. Take a slow breath in and exhale. Again, inhale and exhale. Let the breath come back to its natural rhythm. And now, just notice your body, your breath, your presence. Now imagine you're no longer inside your body. You're just sitting slightly outside, just inches away, watching yourself. There is a version of you sitting right beside you. And that version is observing you. Let her look at you gently. Notice your posture. Notice how you're breathing. Notice your face. And ask yourself, do you see strength? Do you see tiredness? Would you see someone who has been holding a lot quietly? Just observe. No judgment. Only awareness. Now I want you to go a little deeper. Notice your breath again. Is it full or slightly held back? Notice your shoulders. Are they carrying something invisible? Notice your face. Is there softness or a subtle tension that hasn't been released? And now, without needing language, let that version of you feel what you are feeling. Not the story, just the emotion. Is there a quiet pressure? Probably a lingering fatigue? A need to just kind of pause? I want you to stay here because this is something we rarely do. We rarely feel ourselves without distraction. And now from this space of awareness, let her speak to you. That version of yours sitting right next to you, let her speak to you. Not as a judge, but as someone who understands you completely. And then let her give you that feedback that you've always been wanting from others, outsiders. Maybe all that you need to hear right now is you don't have to hold everything within yourself. Or you can breathe. It's okay to slow down. Or maybe just, I see you. Let that feeling be around. Because sometimes being seen by yourself is the deepest form of healing. And now let her gently guide you. We're going deeper. Let your breath deepen just a little. Let your shoulders drop just a little. Let your jaw soften just a little. And I want you to watch what happens. The body listens without force, without effort. Just awareness creates change. Now let us notice something more delicate. Not just the physical body, but the energy within it. I want you to focus on where do you feel light? Where do you feel heavy? Your chest, is it open or slightly guarded? Your stomach, is it calm or holding something? Your throat, does it feel free or like something has been left unsaid? Just observe. Because the body always whispers before it starts to shout. And now gently ask, what have you been carrying lately? Not in detail, not in detail, just in feeling. A responsibility that hasn't paused, an emotion that didn't get space, a quiet exhaustion you haven't acknowledged. And as you observe yourself sitting outside of your own self, realize something very, very human. You have been strong. You have been very strong without always being supported. Stay with that. Now take a slow, deep breath in, deep. And as you exhale, imagine that some of that weight just softens, it disappears. It loosens. Again, inhale deeply and exhale. Now you will see that your shoulders are able to drop a little more. Your face can soften a little more. And let your breath deepen naturally. You're not fixing anything. You're allowing yourself. Now tell yourself something you may not hear often. I don't have to be in control right now. I don't have to be in control at all. Just feel what that does to you. Because most of the tension we carry comes from constantly holding everything together. And for this moment, let yourself rest. Let you not manage, not plan, not solve. Just exist. Just observe. The breath slows. The body softens. The system begins to feel safe again.
Hello, Moto. Hello, Moto.
Relax. That was just a trigger. You can close your eyes again. Inhale softly, exhale completely. Again, inhale softly, exhale softly. And gently bring to mind, not as a full situation, just the feeling of when you felt triggered by this ringtone. You were thrown out of your state of calm. Could you feel stress? Could you feel irritation? Could you feel emotional overwhelm? Notice what happens in your body right now. Those things are still inside you. Let that version of you who's sitting outside, let her give that feedback to you. Did the breath tighten? Does the jaw clench? Does the chest contract? And now, from your observer space, from that version of you who is sitting and observing you, guide yourself. Slow the breath. Relax the jaw. Soften the chest. And you should notice that you're no longer reacting. You are responding. This is your power. Not in controlling life, but in understanding your response to it. Now slowly bring your awareness back to your breath. Inhale. Exhale. I want you to inhale again, deep. Exhale. Feel your body again. Feel the space around you. And when you're ready, you can gently open your eyes. What you just experienced was not something external. It was not a technique. It was you. Your ability to step outside your state, to observe yourself, and form that feedback loop, and maybe even guide yourself back. This is your natural intelligence. This is metacognition. But here is something we often overlook. Even when you are aware, your environment is constantly influencing you through what you consume, through what you apply, through what surrounds you. And sometimes it interferes silently. Endoneutral is a simple idea. Endoneutral is not an abstract idea. It is a conscious shift, a decision to reduce what interferes with your body's natural rhythm and to choose what supports it. In a world filled with invisible disruptors, chemicals that mimic hormones and quietly disturb balance, endoneutral becomes a filter. What you apply, what you consume, what surrounds you should not confuse your system, it should support it. And endoneutral is not just about removing harm, it is about reconnecting to what your body already understands. Forest derived ingredients, raw botanicals, elements your body does not resist because at a deeper level it recognizes them. There is a memory within us of being connected to nature, of living in rhythm, not disruption. Endoneutral brings you back to that quietly, steadily. And when that happens, the body stops resisting, the noise reduces, balance returns. Endoneutral is not just care, it is alignment. So between your body and what it was always meant to live with, and in that alignment, healing begins naturally. Because true healing is not just going within what you experienced. It is also protecting that inner alignment from what quietly disturbs it. And when both come together, you don't just feel better, you come back to yourself. So I want to sorry. So I want to have a feedback from the audience. Were you able to actually have a look at yourself sitting outside? Was that possible for you?
How many of you could do it?
Very short. Very short.
Yeah.
Few hands are raising up.
How about you, Dr. Hitesha, Sri Vidya ji, Lyndon, if you're there, Divya ji?
Yes, I was also able to for a short duration.
Short duration, yeah.
It was a beautiful experience. Well, I'm used to self hypnosis, so I've been practicing self hypnosis since a long time. So yeah, can
Wonderful.
very well talk with my inner self. It was very calm.
Right. So what we'll do is, Dr. Lakshmi, we'll introduce tea right now, and we'll wait for Dr. Sojanya to join us, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
After tea break, it is my session, and then Sojanya ji will.
Absolutely, all yours, all
Session.
yours.
And then, in the meantime, I have asked her to join. So, what we will be doing during tea break, maybe we will engage our audience, with certain activities, and we will have a 10 minutes tea break. After 10
Yeah.
minutes, we will join back.
Perfect. So we're going to be here only. We're going to watch you have tea.
We would like to invite you as well for the digital and virtual
Fine.
tea.
Till the time
Hello.
we have a technology, you can pass on tea from Bangalore to Chandigarh. I'm all
Absolutely.
up for it. Fine.
It's
Please
through
enjoy
through
your tea.
metacognition we are parceling.
that stage also we will come to. Yes, we'll be so metacognitive.
Bear with us, and we will. This interruption will be during the break. Okay. So be on camera HUR, or you want to take a short break, but the video will not be visible for next 2 to 3 minutes. Just please bear with us.
That was lovely, Harmanjit ji.
Thank you so much.
That was very refreshing.
Yeah. So this is for the first time, something of this order is happening online in a hybrid kind of a environment, uh, trying to practice metacognition sort of stuff on through video conferencing. Probably we are one of the first people to be doing that.
Well, I
But
think
as
आपके आवाज में जो you've actually brought that calming whole effect. That was because of your voice, because you have that deep voice. That helps a lot.
I'm practicing to go even deeper. But then to a certain level that there has to be a hollow around your voice, so there's that effect that comes. But yeah, it all comes with practice. It all comes with more and more. The more you do, the better you get at it.
Yeah.
Yes.
And this
Right.
happens with me with the clients na. So मुझे पता है, at that time it's not me speaking.
Right.
Yeah. I think it's good. So far it's been very good. Everyone's brought in very informative, very detailed stuff. So Dr. Hitesha, can you hear me?
Yeah.
So self-hypnosis also.
Yeah.
Okay. So this is something similar that how you also practice it for yourself?
Yeah.
So do you have a recording of your own voice, or is it just something that you're so used to that you can get into that state?
Yeah. So initially, I used to do it with a recording, but now, like, I can do it myself. It has become a practice sort of.
Yeah.
So, but to patients when they need, I teach them the technique and then I give them a recording in my voice, and then they also slowly. But then when they need, because I am used to the suggestions like what I want to frame for specific problems.
Yeah.
So uh, patients also learn slowly, but uh, yeah, we can do it by ourselves
Yeah.
with practice. Yes.
Yeah, it's just about practice. Yeah, that is something that when it's necessary, then that's when I get into that. Otherwise,
Yeah.
I think past remedies help a lot. For me, that's my go-to.
Yeah.
I've been
For
doing
me,
it
it
for,
was. Yeah.
yeah, everyone has their own tools here, correct. But this
Yeah.
is
Absolutely.
only self-hypnosis. I go to it only when it's like I really need answers about something which is absolutely new to me. That's
Yeah.
when I really go to the universe and ask, give me the guidance.
But hypnosis has helped especially my patients with phobias, mood swings, like anxiety. Anxiety, it has wonderful results. And anxiety is one of the commonest symptom that we see in midlife women, especially what I have seen. Hidden sublime anxiety is always there, and then that gets manifested as different problems.
Yeah.
So, yeah. So
And there are
on the
different problems, like you said, who is all dependent upon what they have seen as they were growing up.
Exactly. Exactly.
And
And
so
even
I have,
later on, like what's they are seeing in their surroundings, what all those things keep on affecting and changing your. We call them chitta sanskar, in our
yeah,
Indian philosophy. What
correct,
what what beliefs and things that are hidden in the that is in the chit, or we can say the subconscious mind. So
right.
that is the storehouse,
Huh,
and those things they keep popping up in different way, in different situations.
true, true.
So once we identify those symptoms, why it is coming, then we can modify. So
Huh.
hypnosis is a way of neuroplasticity also. It helps in
Yeah,
rewiring our circuits,
correct, correct.
which was like how I was reacting in one way can be modified by auto suggestions to that I learned to react in a different way, which is not harmful to. We are not worried about other people, we are more worried about ourselves.
True.
Because women, like in midlife, what happens, all this anxiety and all, as I said, either they go in a guilt trip or they go become rebellious, and
Huh,
either way they hurt themselves.
correct.
If it is guilt, like, oh, why did I do this, I shouldn't have said like and this and that, and then there are people around, okay, you go on, you are getting angry, you are getting irritable, you are doing this, you are doing that. So they're identifying those symptoms and working on them. Then it becomes like a raincoat, okay, okay, whoever wants to say whatever they want to, I'm at peace with what. And we learn to,
Adapt to that situation, yes.
yeah,
We actually do stop reacting. At least we catch ourselves before we get into full reactive mode.
yeah, yeah. and
Yeah.
and stop reacting, like sometimes it is out of what we say, like majburi, we don't have other alternative,
Hmm,
like
hmm,
we
hmm.
silence ourselves, we get withdrawn. But when we empower ourselves with this, when we do the reprogramming of the subconscious mind, we don't do it out of pity,
Hmm.
we do it by choice, because we don't want to harm ourselves.
That's how we should
So
reframe it.
All right,
yeah,
so
Never with,
yeah.
Sri Vidya ji, Dr. Hitesha, we've got
Oh,
Dr. Saujanya here. Namaskar, Dr. Saujanya. Thank you so much for joining in. And
Hello.
I think, yeah, great to have you. So I'll
Yeah,
just introduce
likewise.
you. I'll introduce you to the panel. You've got Lyndon Thorpe. She's joining us from Tokyo. She's a embodiment mentor, signal literacy expert, a healer, a bodywork specialist. For she's been practicing for more than about 35 years. You've got Dr. Hitesha Bhatt. She is a gynecologist, OBGYN. For more than about 28 years, she's been practicing. At the same time, she's also menopause psychotherapist.
Wow.
She joins us from Vadodara. You've got Sri Vidya ji. She's a psychotherapist. She joins us all the way from Chennai. She is into bark flower remedies and a lot of uh, psychological stuff that she handles for her clients, including me. I'm not a client, but yes, as a friend. And Dr. Lakshmi, so I would want you to introduce yourself to the panel, please.
Yeah, first of all, hi everyone. Very nice to meet you guys. Sorry I got a bit delayed here. It's 5 a.m. here.
Right.
Um, anyways, thank you for having me. I'm Saujanya Vemuri, clinical nutritionist and a metabolic health researcher and coach. Also the founder of Fit Tribe, which is a midlife and menopause AI platform, which I use for, helping navigate women through menopause using evidence-based strategies.
Right.
I have spent the last 20 years of my life building health tech products and in parallel also did clinical research. So now it feels like the perfect spot to converge these two interests and love of mine, which is technology
Wonderful,
and
wonderful, wonderful. So I'll just, Divya ji, Lakshmi, if you can hear me, can you hear me? In the room, can you hear me? All right, Divya ji is a little busy. I would want uh, Dr. Lakshmi, can you hear me in the hall?
I, I think we're still on mute.
No, I am not on mute,
No, no,
but probably
not you. Over there, yeah.
yeah, they've just muted us for a little while.
After metacognition, they want to have chai and wake up.
Good enough, good enough, good enough.
So, Sarjanya, you're joining us from, sorry, I didn't get that.
I'm from Seattle, Washington.
Ah, okay.
Wow.
Yeah.
How's the
And hey,
weather for
Leonard.
you?
What's that? Sorry, I couldn't
How's the
catch.
weather?
How's the weather for you?
Well, I'm very pleased to say we've been seeing the sun for the last 2 days.
Good.
It's yeah, we can't
Fantastic.
complain. For this time of the year, if we've seen the sun, it's a blessing.
Wonderful, wonderful,
Truly, it's been,
wonderful.
you have some crazy weather this year, haven't you?
Yeah.
Absolutely, yeah. We had a snowfall in mid-March.
Yeah.
Apparently, that we've never seen such low temperatures in spring. Well, on the flip side, we've never seen such warm temperatures in April. So,
Well,
yeah, we're going
world
to take
is
both.
seeing quite a lot of brand new things. So let the weather pattern also be one of the new things. Yeah.
Yeah, I agree.
Right,
I
right,
agree.
right, right, right. Perfect. Looks good. So,
So I know I just went. What's the plan? Is it
sorry.
we've done a few presentations and we're going to
So we've
continue
we've
that?
we've done let's say mostly half of it is through. So yours and Dr. Lakshmi's segment is remaining, and after that we will go on to question and answers, and we are still live on YouTube. We are still live on LinkedIn. So that's what it is. Dr. Lakshmi, if you could increase the volume a little bit so that I can
It is
have a
high
word with
volume.
you.
Yes, yes, please. It is high volume.
So I mean, is everybody able to hear me? Right. So is the tea
We are
done,
settling
or
down.
we settling down? So I would just want to address everybody. If you can just kind of bring
Everybody
the
can
attention
please
here.
have a seat while having tea.
Yeah. So ladies and gentlemen, I would just
They cannot hear you yet.
they can't hear me.
The sound is not coming.
Hello, can you hear me now?
They are not able to hear you. Just give it to couple.
Yeah.
You all please sit down. Take your seat.
We are busy with chai पे चर्चा. ग्रुप्स बना के चल रहा है.
ठीक है, good enough. So imagine if, let's say, I don't know, 30 odd people would be there. So let's say we reach a moment in time where we are able to address 300 people.
Oh, that'll be awesome.
Now that's the target.
But I definitely would
2026.
want to be there.
So when we are addressing 300 people, we will be there.
Yeah,
And 2027 we'll be somewhere outside of India and be there.
sure.
Good, good. That's the idea.
Harmanji, could you
So
please increase the volume little bit? Here we are not able to hear you again.
now, how's it? Now, are you able to hear me?
I can hear you, but not the audience.
So then you have to increase the speaker volume, Lakshmi.
Yes, volume.
We are at 100. We are at 100. Just allow us a minute. We'll try to fix
Yeah,
it.
sure, please.
In the meantime, Sojanya has joined.
Yes, we had the introduction. She's a very nice, warm, lovely personality. Take it as a
Thank you.
compliment, Dr. Sujanya.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah, appreciate that.
You know, the other day I was telling Sri Vidyaji, I said, Sri Vidyaji, you glowing. She says, thank you. I said, well, it doesn't stop at that. It has to come back somehow. I'm not able
Okay, I
to
got the
hear
message.
things.
Point noted. Then,
So well.
Harmanjit ji, you are a very warm and
Thank you so much.
welcoming human. So
You
appreciate
didn't have
that.
to say that. You didn't really have to say that, but that's okay. I'm so glad you said that. Finally, somebody, I'm looking at my old panelists and very good friends. I told everybody today that you're looking good, Sri Vidyaji, you're looking fantastic. And not a word, Sri Vidyaji.
Arre, I asked you, you told me about natural, remember?
तो
I,
वो तो आप पिंच कर रही थी ना, वो तो यू एक्चुअली जस्ट पिंचिंग मी कि बाबू ये क्या है, वो एक वो जेन्युइन तारीफ नहीं आ रही थी ना,
अच्छा नहीं यार ठीक है अब अभी
है ना.
बोल रहे
Now, Dr.
तो फिर
Hitesha, for tomorrow's event, this is a cue. You know, when I say Dr. Hitesha,
I
you
got it.
looking
Got it. Got
lovely,
it.
you
Got it.
looking so, yeah, because everybody's, oh shit, we are on live, right? What are people going to think of me कि ये जबरदस्ती अपनी ये तारीफें करवाता है ये, है ना. Good man. So you know
अरे
that's what
अभी
metacognition does to you,
एक
because I'm
कन्हैया
able
है.
to sit outside. I'm able to sit outside and I'm able to be impressed at God's creations. How can God be so nice and kind to just a few people? You know.
हरमन
you
जी,
know you're
आप
very lucky that our husbands are not listening to this.
Great, 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 great.
इट्स अ
So
पॉइंट है.
yeah. So
देखिए हरमन जी,
if my sorry.
हरमन जी, आप एक कन्हैया है, इतनी सारी गोपियां है, तो वो ही एक कॉम्प्लीमेंट ले लो, उसको ही
क्या बात
कॉम्प्लीमेंट
है,
समझ लो.
क्या बात है, क्या बात है. Wonderful. So, Dr. Lakshmi, you are on mute now. Yeah.
We all are set here. Can you hear me?
I can very well hear you, but I hope you did not hear what we were speaking, or were
We
you
hear
able to?
very loud and clearly.
God, what would you guys think of me? Okay, so all the audience, I just want to kind of, bring your attention to something. Don't consider this to be a very salesy sort of a thing, but we have brought a few teas, a few ingredients from Himalayas. This is something called as NTFDP, non-timber forest derived products. They are there just to kind of, for you to be aware that something of this order also exists. Kali haldi, black turmeric is there. That's a wonderful thing. Lavender, pure lavender, which not any fragrances and stuff like that. And at the same time, rhododendron, which is a seasonal flower in Uttarakhand. That's the state flower of Uttarakhand. So we brought in that as well. So I would want you to kind of, after the event, I would want you to explore and just kind of taste through whatever we've put across for you. Although it's a very small, minute quantity, but that's what we could arrange at the last moment. Now, so another thing, I mean, as a feedback, how's the session till now, and how was the metacognition thing for you guys? Any
Dr. Soni is saying very good.
Well, of course. Thank you, Dr. Soni. How about the other people?
Rasmi is saying good.
All right.
Others are saying good.
So I
It
can
was
see a
good.
few. I can see a few heads nod. So it's not only just activity sort of a thing. It's not one of those, things that we do on a webinar or something, and then we forget about it. But this is something very powerful. You can and you should practice this at home. It's very easy. Try and do this. You will be able to achieve a lot of calm in your day-to-day life. I would want to take this towards. So we've spoken about medicines. We've spoken about HRT. We've spoken about mental health. We've spoken about bark flower remedies. We've spoken about metacognition, inner work. I want to bring you in, Dr. Lakshmi, and stitch it all up together. How does integrated approach, how does integrated medicine, integrated healing work in actual?
Thank you, Harmanji.
Yeah.
So let me get my slides. Sorry, I think all of you are seeing mine. No, I don't want to, in case.
Can you just check on the TV that thing is showing up there? I mean, not on your screen, but there, back there it is.
It is, it is. I am not
Yeah.
yet said.
All right, okay.
Okay. While I'm loading my screen, can you all hear me okay? See me fine? Excellent. So let me share my screen. Thank you, Harmanji. Thanks, everyone. Let me share my screen. Okay. So today, as you briefly heard about, right, all the topic what we talk, whether it's a mental health, whether it's a back flower, whether it's a metacognition, whether it is about BHRT, those topic itself can go on for days, weeks, months. In 2.5 hours, having all this topic in this 2.5 hours will be a short. But we kind of try to touch upon so that at least you be aware of it. So today what I'll focus right now, very quickly, with my scientific mindset, bring it all together and with some scientific evidence. Okay, so that's focus, the topic is focus on integrated approach and specifically focusing on hormone and anti-aging. So let's find out how does it help. So before I start, can we do a little, I know we just had a tea break, can we do a little bit of quick crown pull? That way it helps to, mental clarity, reduces the brain fog. This is one of the best 2 seconds to 2 minutes technique. It helps to give a mental clarity so that you, whatever I'm speaking, you can absorb better. This is our crown pull technique, helps with mental clarity, lymphatic detox, and of course, the circulation. Helps with little bit of memory. This is our memory point. Just along the eyeball line, there's a dip. With 30 seconds reset, we all are set to start to learn more. So why integrated approach, right? What is the need? I know many of you here who are focuses heavily, significantly on diet. Some of you probably focuses on the exercise, your yoga, or your, going to a gym. You all have your personal trainer. And some of you focus on your mental health significantly. Some of you are probably focused on more than one technique, which is really good. But what is the importance having an integrated approach? Because let's do it mathematically. All of us learned basic maths. We have taken the 5 pillar: your gut health, your energy. We all are energetic being. That is our primary source, right? And your mental relaxations, stress, mind programming, and lifestyle and quantum. Lifestyle can be your, all the exercise, sleep, everything that comes there. So you can bucketize in any way you want. This is what I try to bucketize in the simplest form. What happens if you just focus on food, but you do not focus on your energy part or on your mental health part? What will happen? You will still get some good results, but will that be enough? The answer is clearly no. And that is why some of you are trying a lot of effort, but you are not putting your effort in a smart way. So just do a simple math. For example, you are trying your food, probably score is 8 or 9 out of 10. But your mind or your relaxation, any of that, or probably your sleep, if it's only 2. And if you multiply all of them, right, 10, 10, 10, 10 to 5, it is not a simple addition or simple multiplication. Just for the discussion perspective, it is 10 to the 5. But if you are just focusing on 8 is on a food, 2 on other aspects. So it will be 8 multiplied by 2, 16, 16 multiplied by 2, 32, 64. It is still 100, less than 100. So where will you get your results? Right? The answer is already within you. So why the focus of your integrated approach? It's already there with you. Can you all do an activity within your mind, which part of your, this pillar that you focus more? Or if you are someone who is already focusing all the 5 pillar, what is your score? Take 10 out of 10 for each. Could somebody do a mental calculation and tell me what is your score? Okay. Take 10, like for example 8 in one case, 2 into one another case. All of are doing mental calculation. They are thinking, they are observing. I'm so glad at least you are reflecting upon it, right? It is important to reflect. If you want, any of you can take a screenshot or take a photo of it, right? Just that way it is there with you for you as a reference. Okay, we all know aging impacts, right? We say कि हाँ age हो गया यार. Age हो गया यार ऐसा नहीं होता है, right? It doesn't happen, and neither it happened overnight. It took its own sweet time to come. It takes more sweet time to go, right? So how do it actually impact? As we talked about, it impacts your skin, it impacts your brain health, it impacts your pain. Say knee pain. Every household older person will say, I have a knee pain. No, why should you have a knee pain? There's so much you can do. Preventive care. That is why when it is also not the way that, somebody in your household points out, you are normal like that. Why you have to wait? Of course, no, it's not that easy to take care of it, but it's still you can do little by little, little by little. If you follow the power of atomic habits, you can make a big difference over a time frame. So that is what I'm trying to bring it out here. So let's understand what are the root cause. Root cause of aging, or what do you say, vitality, or as you can say, longevity. It's primarily your cellular aging. I'll bring it little bit of scientific, but still in a simpler form. Hormonal changes, lifestyle factors, stress, chronic diseases, a lot of environmental factors, especially predominantly nowadays. We are surrounded by toxins, physical toxins, emotional toxins. Like for example, water we drink, right? The air we are breathing, the digital toxins. We all have the phone. How many phones in this room? How much radiation that we all are getting, right? Even though we are in for a good cause. Many of this comes uninvited and unintentionally. It is outside our sphere of influence. And even though we order organic food, it comes in a plastic package, many of the cases. All that microplastic gets into our guts, affects our gut lining. Therefore, gut is the being mother of all disease, affects all other parts of the system. So I will not be able to go everything, but few focus, that's something that you can take away. Okay, so it is first of all oxidative stress. When you see an apple like this, who eats? Nobody, right? Either you will throw at least the top surface. But same thing happens within our body. How many of you even know it happens? Or it has already happened? Right? Apple को तो फेंक दिया, खुद को खा लिया, right? That is something should not happen. So what are the ways? Probably some antioxidant, some anti-inflammatory, right? Your omega-3, there are a lot of things you can do. Second, your mitochondria. Your mitochondria is your energy center. Very, 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 very important. There's so much you can do. If there is something you can do, if you just focus on mitochondria, of course, it depends on your lifestyle, it depends on your stress, depends on your sleep, so many other circadian rhythm, many things. But if you focus on mitochondria, that itself will take your life long to a much, 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 much healthier state than what you are today. So what are the mitochondria? This paper explains what are the issues if mitochondria is not healed, right? We are not going through each one of them. But if I just want to bring a snapshot, take home message for you, all of you. If just mitochondria is not in a healthy state, can you see the number of disease from top to bottom? Is there anything remaining from us? Every part of our body, at the very cellular level, it does impact us. We don't need to remember what are the disease names and which part of the organ. Just remember it impacts everything. And why? With the age 20, this is a nice, actually I've taken from a reference, age 20, age 40, age 70. Somebody comes, Abhi, I'm 28 and I'm still not able to conceive. Probably your mitochondria is like your age 40. Somebody is like, I conceived naturally at the age of 43. Maybe my mitochondria is probably younger than that it is. There are so many things, right? It impacts. So if you take care of your mitochondria, you will be able to end your telomere length, you will be able to take care of reverse your aging, and of course your longevity. So just one thing you make sure that what are you going to do to take care of your mitochondrial health today. That I have some handouts, make sure you write it down before you end of the night today, while things are fresh on your mind. Okay, what is mitochondria? We all know it's an energy center. We all know that, okay, today we don't feel good, maybe our mitochondria is not feeling good, not producing enough energy. Why? Mitochondria is your energy currency. If you lose money, either in stock market or with somewhere, do you feel sad? But if your energy currency gets lost, do you feel sad? All of you that you are feeling an after effect that I don't feel good. But what is happening to your mitochondria? Are you taking at the cellular level? So that is your energy currency. And that is what it will take you to the long way. So there are so many ways that you can actually take care of it. If you think today, what is your energy currency today? Out of 10, what score will you give? At least you have your mental score. Okay, that's good. Excellent. So we are made of 5 elements, right? If you think from that 5 elements, how you can work on those 5 elements to improve your mitochondrial health. For example, Agni, fire. If you look at the sun, especially follow the circadian rhythm, sun therapy, which is called heliotherapy, that will not only take care of your vitamin D, that is a hormone, but so many other things through your suprachiasmatic nucleus, your master internal clock, your house person, your CEO, everything. That person actually guides you what else to do. Similarly, our SCN, our master internal clock, helps us to guide which tissue, which organ should do what, and which hormone should be produced what, at what time. If that is off, everything else is off. Similarly, when you are talking about mitochondria and sun, it is especially when the sun is at 10 degree, that is when your IR, infrared is good, and that is when your mitochondrial healing is fast. So wherever you are staying, in Bangalore, it is usually 6:40 to 7:10. That is the times your sunlight is at 10 degree. Sunrise is at 10 degree. That is the best time for mitochondrial healing. If you are taking air, breathing through certain things. And then if you take care of earth, of course, there are certain ways. And if you take care of Akash element space, it is through fasting that helps for the mitochondrial healing. We can go on. And this is circadian rhythm. Sleep, what happens? I hear many times, because of hot flashes, because of hormonal changes, because of stress, because of this, because of that, the list continues. I couldn't sleep well. Sleep is never ever negotiable. That is non-negotiable, because that is the only time when all the removal, all the sentient cells, the dead cells, they are getting removed. They must be expelled. घर का कचरा कौन घर पे रखता है? How many of you keep it? All the things, dustbin, right? It goes to your dustbin. Similarly, all the sentient cells that must be actually removed, that happens in the night. All the repair mechanism, again, it happens in the night. Similarly, all the renewal process, cell renewal, how good you look, how young you look, all that renewal again happens. What is your biological age? What is your chronological age? All that renewal process will happen in the night. So sleep is non-negotiable. And what can you do about it? There's so much you can do about it. Can you come directly from 3 hours to 8 hours sleep overnight? Probably the answer is no. But in some cases, people have come back to it. When I have actually taken a lot of consulting, there are people who have directly come from 3 hours to 7 hours. Depending on your situation, personalized situation, that we will have to figure out. But sleep is non-negotiable. So therefore, I call it a sleeping duty. Autophagy is important because unless you remove a tomato, right, if it got rotten, it actually takes care of all other tomatoes around it. Similarly, if you have a dead cell, the dead cell doesn't take care of only the dead cell itself. The living cells around it, right, that gets also impacted. So therefore, making sure that all the zombie cells, that autophagy happens. And how? There's so many ways again we can do it. So I have put again the handouts there, all the details, some of the details are captured out there so that you have some action items at the end of the session. If you do not remove, the new leaf will not come. How many of you know when you are in US, we go to see the fall season, right? It's so beautiful. And similarly here, the fall has to happen. The dead leaf has to fall so that the new leaf come. Unless you take care of that, the vitality will not come. Food. Why food is important? Every day, I think probably we eat except some fasting days here and there, right? For the people. Because we know the Saptadhatu, right? Food converts to plasma, plasma converts to blood, blood converts to muscle, muscle converts to fat, fat converts to bone, bone marrow, then your sperm and ovum, right? Your sexual vital fluid. That is only the raw material getting converted. But all the processing parameters, your liver, kidneys, your liver, stomach, your, all the other organs, large intestine and all, they are your process equipment. That is why, even if in the household, same food is prepared, everybody eats, but the output is different. Because your processing equipment is different, processing mindset is different. So your input is not providing same output because it goes through a different mechanism. Therefore, making sure while you are eating food, I have probably one YouTube video talks about few of the elements. You can go and very resourceful, especially in terms of drinking water and eating food, hydrated food. And eventually, we all know that we must stop MRPs, right? Milk, refined product, processed food and sugar. Grounding is a key, that is from the perspective of your mitochondria, perspective from the reducing inflammation. Unless inflammation is reduced, we will never live a quality life. So grounding, this is a very scientific data, it shows how it is. Your blood becomes thinner after 35, 45, especially because of the vaccine, for so many other reasons, our blood becomes thicker. The blood thinning is very, 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 very crucial. And when you do the grounding, this is again a research article where they have nicely done the studies. Stress, there are 3 levels of stress. Hormetic stress, when there is a deadline, we nicely do it. But there is a deadline every time. It does impact your life, right? So how does actually can be taken care? It affects your gut also. Even if you are eating food well, it does impact through your gut-brain axis. If you look at this slide, very crowded. Stress causes so many diseases beyond what can be captured in this slide. So how can we take care of? Maybe journaling, maybe meditation, maybe the metacognition, what Hormone was talking about. Lot of things what we talked. I teach face yoga. Lot of our customers, more than 200 customers are getting benefits immediately. Anything that works out for you, right, you can do. This is again hormone pyramid. How does impact? I will not go through it, but all I want to make sure that your base hormone are taken care. The fundamentals, that is taken care. So this is probably there in that handout again, you can go through. In NWH, we work on the NWH hormone harmony, that is a program name. And this is what actual talks about. H stands for hormone aware. First be aware of it. That is usually week 0. Then understanding the root cause. Unless you understand the root cause, nothing will happen. Then of course taking care of the gut and metabolic health, which Dr. Sojanya will take care of it. Then your mind-body regulation, something that we covered before. Optimizing nutrition, extremely important. And of course, all your natural healing methods and something that is sustainable. Not that something we did today and tomorrow it doesn't work out. You have to build a habit little by little, something that could work out for you. So must take care of whole self, to take care of your hormone, to take care of your overall health, well-being, right? So these are some of the programs that we actually provide, which is personalized, unique to you. And if you have any questions, by following this type of methods, I could change so many things within me. I have transformed myself. So many of my customers, so many of you have transferred while I was talking you too, right? So what can you do little more from today what you already know? So with that, would be happy to connect you beyond the sessions. Thank you so much, and gift yourself, for more of your well-being, more of health. And we have some special offer that is going on because you are here today. We want to make sure that we acknowledge that, we appreciate that, and thank you for joining our community. With that, thank you so much, and have a wonderful evening.
That was wonderful, Dr. Lakshmi. Beautiful presentation that you gave. And this brings us to Dr. Saujanya. Dr. Saujanya, in your field of work, you would have seen quite a lot of hormonal imbalances and gut health issues and lifestyle diseases. Can you throw some light on any of these, please?
Definitely. So today I'll be talking about menopause in the context of a metabolic event, to which I am
May
going to
I
cover.
may I may I just interrupt you and
Yes.
ask you to introduce yourself to the audience, please, because we've not done it fully. Yeah.
Yes. Yes. Give me a moment. Let me get my slides organized here, and
Sure.
we can do that.
So, for the good of the audience, Dr. Saujanya has agreed to join us. It's practically 5 a.m. for her in Washington. She woke up very early for us, and she has been preparing for this particular conversation for a long time, and we're really glad to have her here. So, in your practice, Dr. Saujanya,
Yes.
what do you see more? Do you see people who accept change, or is it like there's a reluctance in accepting that something of this order is happening to them?
Well, the people across along the spectrum, right? So there are people who come to me with a very strong intent of wanting to transform their life and improving their quality of life, health span. And then at the other end of the spectrum, and I think this is what we see across research and across customer segmentation, even technology, is people fall across these different archetypes, right? You're taking care of your health because your doctor told you. That's the other end of the spectrum. And then the left side is you're taking care of your health because you want to optimize your health. So depending on who you are and what's your archetype, the mental models you bring, the compliance you show, the adherence to maintaining and doing the right things is very different. That's what I have seen, and each individual is so different, and each individual needs to be met exactly where they are. And I think that sweet spot is where change happens, in my experience. I think you're muted. I can't hear you.
Sorry. So basically, just coming back to telling the audience what do you do.
Right.
That's
So, yeah, hi everyone. I'm Saujanya Vemuri. I'm a clinical nutritionist and a metabolic health researcher and coach. Also, recently founded the FitTribe, which is an AI-based tech company. It's a platform that allows midlife and menopause women to navigate menopause through a metabolic lens. And we use evidence-based strategies to essentially help reduce the symptom burden and really address the root cause of the issue, which lies in metabolic health, versus looking at just the hormone imbalance as a root cause. Because most often than not, in fact, every case I have handled, the upstream metabolic dysfunction is what causes excessive symptom burden in women. So which is what I wanted to show you around. I think my topic is how does metabolic health and how does reproductive health so closely intertwine, and many times we forget that. We end up treating menopause as a hormonal imbalance only, but that is not the full story. So that's what I would like to show you through the example of one of my patients. All right, so screen.
Do you want to present
Yeah,
something?
can you see my screen?
Yes, we can.
Do you
Lakshmi,
see
do you see the screen there? Yeah? Do you see the screen there? Okay, perfect.
Okay, do you see my presenter view, or do you see the slide show?
We can see the slide which says menopause is a metabolic event, which is quite correct
Yeah,
if you see.
exactly.
Yeah.
Okay, excellent. So there you go. I'm going to skip this slide because I've already introduced myself. But I just wanted to throw one thing out there, which is my research work focuses on the intersection of insulin resistance, metabolic syndrome, and how both of these accelerate during menopause and perimenopause, right? So that's the context I want to set. So what we're really going to be exploring today is that menopause is not just a reproductive event, okay? It is a metabolic event that affects the body, the brain, and for many people, their performance and their business and leadership. As you can see in these agenda topics, we're going to cover all of this, essentially the connection, the estrogen, beyond reproductive hormone lens, and the metabolic connection and what you can actually do about it. Okay, just to level set so we're all on the same page, I'm going to quickly start off with a few definitions, and I know some of you already know this. So the average age of menopause is between 45 and 55, and is defined as the cessation or stoppage of periods for 12 months or more. So essentially, menopause is this one day, this anniversary, the 12th month after the last period. So it's one day in the calendar, right? Everything before that day is perimenopause, and everything after that day is postmenopause. And menopause also is the permanent decrease, in female hormones, okay? And perimenopause is the erratic ovulation that occurs leading up to menopause. And it has fluctuating hormonal levels, and the average time is anywhere between 4 years to 10 years. Primary ovary insufficiency is also something which causes early menopause, and it is the menopause before the age 40. And this is significant for cardiovascular risk. If a woman is going to go through menopause before the age of 40, it drastically increases her risk for cardiovascular disease. All right. And early menopause, as you can see, is defined as menopause between the ages 40 and 45. Okay, so in general, the menopause transition can take anywhere between 4 to 40 years. And what's significant here that we all need to pay attention to is a woman could be in postmenopausal phase for close to 40 years of her life, which is significant, right? And That is what we want to acknowledge through this presentation. Now, a little reminder of the schematics of menopause transition. Now, during premenopausal phase, if a woman is ovulating normally or she's not on a pill and she doesn't have polycystic ovarian syndrome, then we would expect a monthly cycle like you see there, and you can see hormones are pretty even and consistent during this phase. We then reach the perimenopause phase where you can see hormones are all over the place. It feels very erratic and chaotic, right? And we finally finish after the 12-month wait. We technically hit menopause or postmenopause, during which you'll start seeing that the female hormones are significantly lower, but the body gets used to a new equilibrium, which is operating on a lower dosage of estradiol and progesterone and testosterone as well. Now, the symptoms leading up to menopause include, in the perimenopause phase, heavy bleeding, erratic bleeding, hot flushes, dry skin, itchy skin, vaginal dryness. Women get decreased libido, sleep disturbances, joint pains, brain fog, weight gain, mood changes, and fatigue. And apart from heavy bleeding and erratic bleeding, all these symptoms can continue way into your postmenopausal period. And this is close to 40 years, right? So keep that in mind as we go through this slide. So how about we do a deep dive on hormones? And it's all about the steroids. And I'm not talking about the steroids that you see here on the picture. We're talking about sex steroids, right? So estrogen, progesterone, and testosterone are sex steroids. Cortisol is also a steroid. And through this lecture, I'm going to be focusing on estrogen, cortisol, and my favorite, insulin, which is the master regulator in our body. Okay, that's a metabolic hormone. That's the orchestrator of everything that happens in the space of hormones. All right, so just a little reminder for everyone here. For those of you who need a little update on how hormones work, it's essentially a two to three tier system. There's a signaling and there's a production. And the signaling, as you can see, happens in the brain. So the hypothalamus signals to the pituitary essentially signals to the end organ. In this case, I put an ovary. So the gonads and ovaries are your endpoints, and the signaling happens through the brain. All right. So say, for example, if there is an environmental stress that is affecting your brain, that directly impacts how your hormones get produced in your end organ. Okay, and I'm oversimplifying this. The hormones don't only get produced in the gonads and ovaries. I mean, the estrogen, progesterone, testosterone. They also get produced in some of it in the adrenal glands, but we're not going to get into that. Okay. All right. So let's dive into each one of them. Actually, not each one of them, but the estrogen specifically. Now, I wanted to talk a little bit more about estrogen because the more well-known function of estrogen is in the reproductive system, right? That is, we all know. But I think we should shed light on everything else that it does. But I'm going to cover what it does in the reproductive system first, right? So the estrogen obviously helps with ovulation. It provides the thickness for your endothelial lining. It is responsible for vaginal lubrication. It is responsible for skin and blood vessel integrity down there. In fact, the entire pelvic region is very estrogen dependent, and it plumps up the genital tissues. Okay. It's also involved in the breast tissue and the development of the fat within the breast. But I want you to remember that estrogen is not just about uteruses and boobs. Okay, estrogen is involved in just about every cell in the human body. Within the musculoskeletal system, estrogen increases bone density. It is integral in muscle synthesis and repair. It is important in ligaments and tendons. It is vital for collagen synthesis and skin elasticity. So within the musculoskeletal system, these are the key roles that estrogen plays. And when we lose estrogen at menopause, women lose bone density, they lose muscle mass, their joints become more painful, and the collagen breaks down. And you can see that in how your skin starts fading off in one sense, right? Estrogen is involved in breast tissue, like I already said. Now, here I wanted to bring this back because I wanted to throw something that's important. Just, I think it's important for us to know that the biggest risk factor for breast cancer is actually BMI over 30. The biggest protector of that is exercise, believe it or not. If a woman can do 5 30-minute sessions a week, then they reduce their risk of breast cancer by 7 women per 1,000 every 5 years. That's significant risk reduction just if you spend 150 minutes of some kind of an exercise through the week. Okay. Now,
Dr. Sujanya, there is one more fact that has been emerging over a period of time is that estrogen overexposure is
yes,
responsible for breast cancer, right?
correct.
And
100%.
that is exactly what we have to be sure of, that not to inadvertently get into HRT just for the heck of it. We have to make sure that it comes from a very strong decision making. It comes from something that you've been really speaking about, you've been learning about, and not just
Yes.
because there was a trend. There's a trend that I believe in USA you have things which are available off the counter as well. Am I wrong?
The HRT? Um, no,
I
I
would
think
say
it's,
not
yeah,
really
it's,
HRT, but yes, there are some products which take you towards that phase. Am I wrong in that?
I don't, I'm not aware if there are such products, but I do know that, the menopause hormonal therapy is definitely a prescription
It
dosage.
has to be. It has to
It
be.
has to
It
be,
has to be.
yes. And
And
just closing out on your, yeah,
sorry,
go on.
sorry, please. So what we've been really working on, Dr. Sujanya, in the community is, in the collective, is that we've been speaking to a lot of oncologists, a lot of drug control, officers. We have been into the archives, the profiles of people who are really forming policies there, you know, and at the same time regulators. So number one, I don't know what is it with FDA, but in India as of now, not a very stringent regulatory authority exists for HRT. And this brings me to something that we have to kind of close our session with, in a way, with a thought. Let's not be
Yeah.
blindly following trends. Let's be aware of ourselves. That's exactly what we've been trying to build in the past about last 2.5 hours. We've had doctors, we've got homeopaths, we've got gynecologists, oncologists, nutritionists as yourself, healers, energy healers. Everybody suggests just one thing: get to know yourself first.
Absolutely.
absorb
Absolutely.
absorb yourself first, and that's how you kind of get to go further. I would really close this particular session today with one
Okay.
takeaway from all of you, and I'll start with you, Dr. Sujanya. A very short, probably a 30 seconds takeaway.
Yeah, I let me do that. Let me do that. I actually want to show everyone a slide before I speak to it. Okay. So yeah, and my big takeaway. Actually, I also want to quickly comment on what you said about hormone replacement therapy. I would have done a full deep dive on that if that was the topic of interest, but there is what does research tell us and what have we seen in patients is, to your point, menopause hormonal therapy is not a magic pill for everyone, right? It
Absolutely.
is, you need to be taking at the right woman at the right time for the right context. then it works. And the reason that we know, the reason we know, at least as of today, in terms of how much research has evolved around why HRT could potentially be increasing your chances of breast cancer, is really in the gut, as with every other disease, right?
Absolutely,
So
absolutely.
before getting into MHT, you want to make sure that you don't have gut dysbiosis, meaning your gut is working okay. All right. We have evidence in the gut research space where, in fact, HRTs don't work if you have some kind of a gut issue. And the reason for that is in the gut, not going too technical, but there's a phenomenon that happens called glucuronidation, where estrogen essentially needs to be recycled and excreted through the body. Okay, if that process isn't happening the way it needs to, then there is this accumulation of estrogen in circulation. And for those individuals who have a hormone sensitive tumor tendency, this excess circulating unrecycled estrogen in circulation could potentially
Absolutely,
drastically
absolutely,
increase your chance of
absolutely.
so MHD. So to I highly and strongly encourage people to work with an expert who understands HRT.
Absolutely.
It is safe. It is mostly safe, but it's not for everyone. Okay,
Not for everybody. That's a
that's for
brilliant
my
point.
yeah.
That's a brilliant point, Dr. Saujanya. I would request you to just stop sharing, and then I can bring in Shri Vidya ji on the thing, right? Shri Vidya ji,
Okay.
what's your final 30 seconds last takeaway for this particular session that we've had today?
I would recommend that people express themselves, because by expressing, you're releasing the pent up emotion, whichever it is. And you can do this either through journaling or sitting and talking to someone you trust. Because if you're going to suppress it, it's just going to accumulate in the system, and it's going to cause things you have to deal with even more stuff then. So try to
Right.
release it by expressing it in a safe way.
All right. Uh, I would want to move to Dr. Hitesha. Dr. Hitesha. Dr. Saujanya, if you could just remove this slide so that Dr. Hitesha can come full on.
Am I still
Right?
sharing?
Yes, you are. You are. You are. Dr. Hitesha, what's your final takeaway? 30 seconds.
Yeah, so as a gynecologist, I would say that menopause is a physiology, it's not a pathology. And so we
Right.
address it like physiology. And
Right.
there is no definite way to tackle menopause. I follow the holistic approach where we look into the body, mind, and soul. And when we harmonize that cycle, that body, mind, soul circuit, then and then we can address the symptoms of menopause in a holistic way. And that is the crux of my book, which I have put a poster there, which
I will.
is
I will. I'll just put the poster. I'll just put
yeah,
the poster.
it is Menopause Decoded, which leads you to
Yeah,
a
this one.
holistic approach to deal with menopause.
Yeah. So she's penned down this particular beautiful book. It's available on Amazon. We will share the link with you. Anybody who wants to explore is most welcome to explore this. And that's a brilliant point. That's a brilliant point, Dr. Hitesha, from your side. That's a brilliant point. Moving on to Dr. Lakshmi. Dr. Lakshmi, how about you? What's your final takeaway for this?
Integrated, 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 integrated. That's the only thing what I would say.
So that's a lovely 10 seconds takeaway that you've given. Beautiful.
Just remember, everything matters. It's not just one thing today, tomorrow another thing. It's
Yeah.
integrated approach that will take you from today till the time we stop our breathing.
Absolutely. Divya ji, I would want you to step in and give us the final takeaway for this. Divya ji is there?
Divyaji is just stepped out.
All right, okay.
Srividya ji can start and then.
No, Sri Vidya ji is already given. Now it's my turn. I would want to suggest something very, very simple. Everything that happens happens for a reason. You cannot change things overnight. If you have taken 12 years to accumulate 10 kgs of weight, do not assume that you will have 2 weeks and the weight will be lost. So it will take its own time. Let's trust in the process and do not sit in that silo and start sobbing. So that's my takeaway. It's all to come from a very positive mindset, and I would want Divya ji if she can join us. Otherwise, if we have any questions, Lakshmi, I would
Yeah.
want to people to kind of
So
bring on.
right now we will have a Q&A sessions and the snack will be
Yeah.
provided. So any
Yeah.
questions you have to any of our speakers, we would be happy to answer them. Anyone has a speak? Yeah, Divya ji is here. Before we go to the question session, any last 30 seconds summary session from your side?
Divya ji,
Okay.
your turn.
Okay, last 30 seconds. If I have to summarize, I will just summarize in 2-3 sentences, probably nothing more than that. So I would say, from my perspective, that whatever it is we see on our physical aspect, either it is a hormonal changes which we or the any kind of physical discomfort or anything, trust me, it always starts from your mind. The first loop starts from the mind. The first thing or the first best thing you can do to yourself, I can do to myself, is start looking at your thought patterns, how they are. Probably you will find a clue there, and then the things will become much more easier for the rest of your life. Thank you so much.
Perfect. That's a very crisp sort of a 30-second that you've given, Divya ji. And just before we end this particular talk of ours, the session of ours, I would want to suggest to everybody, do test the concept of endoneutral. Do explore this. We've really brought these particular things all the way from the forests of Uttarakhand. Divya ji there would be taking orders, and we are offering a 20% discount on the spot, whoever wants to buy. For the skincare part, for the teas, Divya ji is taking pre-booking orders if anybody wants to explore this. And any question and answers now?
Any questions? You can come up here. We have also a mic. Yes.
You can ask. I mean, you are audible as such.
What's the question? I can then
Thanks everyone for putting up this program, and we've been getting a lot of information. So one thing I wanted to understand is that how do I, as a person, understand my levels of hormones at this present moment? Is there any biological way of knowing my levels of different hormones? And I know intuition is one part of it, and my health is just looking through my own intuition or my physical well-being. I know that there are some aspects I can understand, but then to know it in a scientific way, is there a way that I can
I think Dr. Hitesh would answer, otherwise I'll
take some actions on it?
Got it. Wonderful question. So the
Can
question
you
from the
just repeat
audience.
the question, please? Can you
Yes,
repeat the
I'm
question,
doing.
please?
There are so many hormones that we talk about. For
I will take
women,
it.
right? So
I think that
some-
I'll take it, right, so
Yeah,
that
yeah.
they can hear. So the question is, how do I understand my own situation from the audience? How does he understand our own situation? Intuition is one thing, but how the hormones play a role. Is there any scientific way to know that, or maybe something that Dr. Hitesh?
Some tests. Dr.
Yeah.
Hitesha, what do you have to say to that?
So, see, there is no definitive test to say that you are entering menopause. Of course, the levels of hormones we keep on declining, but then it's erratic until it is stopping. There is one hormone which is one test, that is serum AMH, anti-malarial hormone, which gives an idea about the number of follicles in the ovary.
Right.
And so from that, you can make out that, okay, you are approaching menopause. So serum AMH levels of less than 1 means your ovarian reserve is depleting. So that is one
So
way
that is
to,
basically how many eggs are still remaining with you, right?
exactly, exactly. So that is
And
that is known as ovarian reserve and the depleting ovarian reserve. Otherwise, you need to do estrogen levels every day, which is not practical or
not
possible.
possible, not possible,
Yeah.
not
And
possible.
So
also
there
it
is no
changes over time.
definitive test. So menopause is a retrospective diagnosis. Like if you don't get your period for 1 year, then you say that okay, you're into menopause. Other than that, there is no definitive.
Absolutely, absolutely, absolutely. Any other questions? I mean, we would really appreciate if we would have questions. We've got a panel which is really
Take
able
the
to
question.
explain things.
I'm actually going to add just a little bit to what Dr.
Sorry.
Hitesha said. I think she's spot on saying that your labs during perimenopause really don't tell you a whole lot in terms of what is the right intervention and what's going on. However, there are scoring, methods. There is a menopause scoring rating scale, the different scientifically designed
Yeah.
scorecards that you can
Yes.
access, and these are self-reported symptoms, right? So over a period of time, you could know where you start off with. Say your baseline is 22, which I would consider high. You start introducing certain interventions, whether it's in terms of stress management or other exercise, whatever it may be. And every 4 to 6 weeks, you can go back and self-report and see how you are doing against your baseline. And I think a lot of OBGYNs here use that because they know the labs don't really tell that much. And Dr. Hitesha, you probably you're nodding your head, so I am assuming you do that too.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah, there are scales which are available, and most of the menopause consultants, if you go to them, they will help in guiding you depending on the symptoms. Yeah. So if the question is when I will get my menopause, there is no answer to that.
Right.
But you can say that okay, you are in perimenopause.
That's a safe space. That's a safe, I would say,
Yeah.
acknowledgement to make to yourself.
Yeah.
We have
Dr.
another
Lakshmi.
question.
Yeah,
Another
please, please,
question.
please, madam, please.
Hello everyone. Thank you so much for the wonderful session. Actually, it was very, very useful. We had a broad understanding of a lot of things put together. So another question related to this estrogen level maybe. When I know a lady who is in post-menopause phase, and it's like already 1.5 years she has been in like menopause state, and she complains that she feels that her breast is growing little bigger, like compared to previous days. So is it also effect of estrogen? If that is the case, then estrogen actually, it was there on the slide that it helps giving fat to the breast tissues. But how is it that she is feeling that the breast is becoming heavier? That is one thing. She also developed insulin resistance, and of course the regular problem of waistline has got a lot of fat accumulation which she is not able to shed off. So can we talk about this part of that lady? What would have gone wrong in her body? Maybe.
Dr. Bhatt, do you want to go? And then I would request Dr. Sojanya to add on to that, please.
With my
Sorry,
headphones.
come.
Can you please, Lakshmi, can you please repeat?
So
there is one
basically, what she's been asking is that there's a lady that she knows who has reached. She's postmenopausal now, and she is reporting increased breast size, increased weight size. Is it because of estrogen levels, being hampered, or how is it? I mean, why is all this happening? What do you think is happening there?
Yeah, no, Saujanya mentioned about the metabolic distress. So loss of estrogen leads to this altered metabolic status where there is erratic cortisol, erratic insulin, and subclinical insulin resistance, which leads to altered carbohydrate metabolism and more of fat deposition. So this is in very short what happens. So even if you are eating the same amount of food which you are having and same amount of exercise which you are having, you are bent to put on some weight because of this metabolic derangement in your body. And so you need to modify according to your internal system, the amount of stress that you are taking, the amount of exercise, the amount of what the diet pattern, like what Lakshmi said. It is a multi-pronged approach, and you need to identify with your metabolic status to take care of this.
Dr. Sujanya, do you want to add on to something?
The person, I don't know the person's name, that you bring this up, a part of my presentation was essentially showing how, really insulin resistance underpins the symptoms a woman, experiences through menopause. Because if you look at traditional societies, in fact, there was a very nice anthropology study where you see that traditional societies, women did not even know they were going through menopause, right? There wasn't even a word in their dictionary to describe hot flashes, right? So there is hormonal imbalance happening physiologically, which is by design the menopause, but there is a hormonal imbalance happening which could happen, which is pathological, which is insulin resistance. So
Right.
it's because if it's a physiological hormonal imbalance, there is no reason for us to see symptoms. So it must make you wonder that if it's a physiological event, what is it that is making me, gain weight, get cravings, increase my chances of type 2 diabetes. Suddenly I'm, 6 times more prone to cardiovascular disease. What is it, right? And I think Dr. Butt perfectly, nailed that. It's an underlying metabolic dysfunction. But I think you had another question about why could the lady's, breast be growing larger. I haven't seen her labs. I don't know what the whole context is. But if I was to speculate, also remember there is, a certain amount of progesterone in her body, and that also helps, is involved in the development of glandular tissue in your breast. So it's hard to say what really is what's happening. I can only speculate, but if she is willing to, work with a doctor and an expert like Dr. Butt, I think looking at her, the entirety of her biology, you can start underpinning what might be causing that. That's
brilliant. That's brilliant. That's brilliant. Dr. Lakshmi, I would want people to come up with their questions.
Yeah, we have another question from Dr.
Yeah.
Soni.
Yes, Dr. Somni, go ahead. You're audible as such.
So, yeah, my question is that suppose a woman went through some forced menopause, that is,
Right.
right, in a very early age. Nowadays, many women are suffering from many type of diseases, and the most vulnerable is endometriosis. So, where the doctor suggests to go for hysterectomy along with the removal of their ovaries also. So,
Right.
the suffers from so many hormonal shifts all of a sudden, and they themselves don't know what to do. So, I really request Dr. Sajanya and Dr. Hidesha to give some tips how to cope up with this state, because this is the one thing which I am seeing in very young women also, and it is really very much traumatic in all phases, like in the physical level, their mental level, their emotional level, they went through a lot. And at the same time, being into the Indian culture, men don't understand these things.
So yes, no, actually it is correct. It's not a matter of laughing at all. The women who are going through that, it is really difficult for them to make
I
other
agree.
understand what
I
they are
agree.
going. So
I agree.
some basic steps how they can cope up with these things. Any type of medications, any type of hormonal replacement therapy, is it really required, or at what stage what should be done? This is my question.
So I want Dr. Hotesha to go in first, and then I would want some perspective from Sri Vidya ji on this aspect.
Um, can you please repeat the question?
I'll repeat it
So
for you.
basic. All right. Okay.
Hey, go ahead,
Yeah.
Manju.
No, no. Please, please, please.
Your voice is
You.
more clear. Go ahead.
All right. So basically, what Dr. Soni has asked is that due to some reason, some surgery, a lady is, forced into menopause. Forced menopause happens. Surgical menopause
Surgical
happens.
menopause. Yeah.
How does that person cope up with something that sudden that appears? Is it only, that she is supposed to be doing some meditation, some sort of a psychoanalysis, or probably some sort of a calming down thing, or medically we have some options here?
Yeah. So
And
when there is a
just to add to that question, endometriosis is in the play. So that
yeah.
impacts day-to-day activities, right? So
Yes.
how do we take care of that?
Yeah, so when a woman undergoes surgical menopause, there'll be a drastic fall in the estrogen hormone suddenly, and so that she is a candidate for HRT for a small window, because no amount of other forms of the therapies is going to take care of that window. So when there is a drastic fall, you need to take HRT, and
Okay.
once you fall into, yeah, you get control over your things, then you can slowly wean off HRT. Along with HRT, you can go with all these techniques of therapy, meditation, diet, exercise, and all those things, and slowly wean off the HRT over a period of time. But yeah, you need to replace hormone by hormone. That is true.
Srividya ji, your context. What's your context? Just switch on your mic, please. What's your context?
Okay. So this has happened to a client of mine, and we have been speaking about menopause to about for ladies who have all their lady parts intact. But when something like this happens, a surgical menopause happens, like Hitesh ji said, of course there is a drastic fall in estrogen levels, but then she also feels that suddenly she's not as womanly as she was before. So that loss of femininity, she feels that there is a loss of femininity because her lady parts are out. That affects a lot because it's sudden. Everything is sudden. One, there is fall in the estrogen levels, and then again, she is also feeling, I am not. We have a gradual process during the perimenopause phase. Like Sojanya ji said in her slides, it's like at least 10 years.
But that's I mean, fine. We understand what the problem is. We understand what's the explanation of the problem. But then the root we are trying to discuss here is, what do you do about it? क्या
Well,
करें इसका?
she will definitely have to go through talk therapy, a
Okay.
psychotherapist, or someone who she
Okay.
trusts to
Okay.
actually, so that she can bring it out of herself. When she voices her feelings,
Hmm.
that itself is half healing.
Hmm.
What does she feel about the whole process that she has to undergo, that she's undergone? That is something that's very important, to get in touch with her true feelings.
So basically, get in touch with her own self. Doctor Sojanya, what's your take at this? Just unmute yourself, please.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I would say, I think Dr. Bhatt, again, she's amazing. She's right in saying that, a woman that's gone through hysterectomy, and, also a candidate who's had endometriosis, HRT is she's the right candidate for HRT, and especially because she probably doesn't have her ovaries. They need to be giving her testosterone in addition to estrogen and progesterone. But that said, I think from a lifestyle perspective, see, a lot of these diseases really are inflammation, right? Endometriosis, as we know, is a inflammation. It's underpinned by inflammation. So, which also leads to hysterectomy. So it really comes down to how do you drive down inflammation. In fact, my current patient is one such, which is who's going through a surgery soon. She's been an endometriosis patient for the last 20, 30 years of her life, and now she has cysts in her ovaries which need to be removed. And so the question is, what do we do going forward from a lifestyle perspective? And for me, where I have seen the greatest results is how do you bring down inflammation? And that's a very broad strokes word I put there, because obviously there are many sources of why you could get inflammation. But again, it comes down to controlling the controllables, which is what can you do to reset your gut as much as possible. That's
Right.
really kind of the source. And I mean, I will end up saying the unsexy things, which is the basics. Unfortunately, those move the needle, whether we like it or not. Those move the needle. Which is the sustenance. The 5 S's: the sustenance, the strength, social connections, sunlight. Things like that. This is really where you can optimize for, in my opinion.
That's a brilliant answer. Brilliant answer. I would want some more questions, if possible.
Well, we have two more questions. Yeah, go ahead.
This may be a different question. Practically, when we see women going through perimenopause, there are a lot of changes emotionally, right? So they behave differently. It looks like they are behaving differently to everyone. Children feel mama is different.
Yeah.
Everybody in the house, they feel that the lady is behaving differently. Especially irritability, no control on anger, many other things. Right? So, and sometimes it is perceived as a psychological disorder,
Right.
maybe schizophrenia or something else, depression. So, what are those specific points which can differentiate menopause symptoms with the psychotic disorders or psychological conditions?
So before we answer this, I would want everybody to understand, number one, perimenopause is not a disorder. Number two, it is not just a her issue. It is the entire family who has to pitch in. Now, the families, parents, in-laws, children, husband, friends, everybody has to understand that her energy is scattered. Let us try and help her through this particular part. Number two, as you said, there is absolutely no test about it. Yes, you have to be aware of it, and that's why, again, coming back to the same point, awareness. But even after you are aware, what do you do about it? So one of the techniques, or one of the things that we prescribe to our collective, to everybody in the collective, is start to have one practice that you decompress yourself from time to time. You see, what starts to happen is that you start to take on quite a lot of load on yourself. What will the family think? What will the in-laws think? How should I present myself? It's better I don't tell anybody. It's better I keep it to myself. And that is you compressing yourself time and time again. So number one, I don't say that you go out and discuss this with everyone, but at least discuss this with someone who you trust, and usually that should be the first person you should be going to is your husband. Number 2, do not believe in everything that you think. That's a very important factor that I am trying to bring on. Do not believe everything you think, because when you are in that loop of imagining things, when you have brain fog, a lot of things that you will automatically be drawn towards the dark sides. So you don't want to be thinking of the dark sides at all times. Am I missing something, Srividya ji, or have I summed it up?
No, you summed it up perfectly well, because that is the time.
What are the interjections? What are the interjections, Lakshmi?
What are the?
I mean, let's just ask her if we've answered her question, or
Yeah,
she
so
wants
if you can
another
give an
perspective.
example, you said that don't believe what you think. If you can give an example so that we can understand it better.
I'll give my example. I will give you my example. Very recently, I did my blood tests, and my B12 and D3 levels were extremely low for some reason. And Dr. Soni sitting there, I had discussed this with her. But during this particular time, till the time I went, I was gradually declining, and I did not do my tests. I was finding that everything was too dark for me. I was thinking on the dark sides. I was thinking of depression. I was thinking of death. I was thinking of divorce. I mean, not really in that perspective, but I was always surrounded by these thoughts. Relationships going bad. If I have to write a poetry, I would write the dark things. And that is what I am trying to tell you. Do not get drawn into it, because it becomes a vicious circle. The moment you start absorbing this, your gut starts to lose the fire, I would say, right? The function is basically, and then it gives the signal back to your brain that okay, something's gone wrong. Let's not sleep. Let's be awake. It is not supposed to be a restful time, because you are in that flight mode, not you're not in the rested mode, so you don't sleep well. Insomnia starts to set in, right? So it's all to do with your thinking. Unless and until you step out of this zone, and unless and until you move, let's say 2 inches, 3 inches, 6 inches away from yourself, sit outside yourself, and then start to observe, then you realize, I mean, there's something physically wrong with me. Let me get the tests and let's see what the levels are. So this is exactly, don't get drawn into the dark side. Does that solve your question, ma'am?
Yeah, quite a bit.
A little bit.
I'll help you.
I would really appreciate if you join our collective. We have the scanners there. Divya ji will help you. Dr. Soni will help you with that. There are a lot of experts, like all these people that you see on the screen, like a few people who are sitting there. You just have to shoot out the question, and you get 30, 40, 50 perspectives at the same time. So that's one of the things we are building. We are building a community of experts, of people who want to be seekers, and yeah, it's a wonderful space to be. Menopause, perimenopause does not need to be dark.
Yeah, the point is, women are mistaken, like they are under depression.
Yes.
Or they are the victim of, they are the patient of schizophrenia.
Yes.
Like these. They are quite mistaken by children, by husband, by...
The problem starts, ma'am, the problem starts when you start believing it, when the woman herself starts believing it. Let everybody think whatever that is, right? But the problem starts when the woman herself starts to believe this. That's why I say, do not believe everything you think. Your thinking will be manifested by a lot of factors, by your family, what everybody else thinks, or they want you to think. So that's why don't get drawn into it. I mean, that's easy said than done, but yeah, we have to start working on that.
Okay, last question. Okay, we'll go ahead.
can I add one thing to
Sure. Dr. Sujanya.
yeah, I think we also, just representing the both the sexes here, right? Um, I think we have to acknowledge that, insulin resistance obviously occurs also in men, and there's a thing called andropause, right? We don't talk about it much, but there is a thing called andropause. It's just that they don't, men also start seeing this decline in testosterone with age, and there are implications of that, right? It's just that it is not as sudden. It's not like we suddenly hit the car against a wall as it happens with menopause, which is why it doesn't get spoken as much and you don't acknowledge what they're going through. But symptoms like depression, headaches, irritability, mood swings, increased weight, memory loss, these things are equally shared between both the sexes, right? And I want to call that out loud because a lot of women that I have met, we tend to question, why can't this guy get it? But please understand, they are also going through some things,
Absolutely.
especially if they have, especially if they're insulin resistant. You should expect that they aren't feeling great themselves. So just that little awareness and being, empathetic towards the other sex, and knowing that they
Perfect.
are going through something is also going to
Perfect.
help you.
Lakshmi, we'll take the last question now. I mean, I guess we've really
So Dr.
gotten
Lakshmi
into it.
spoke about, global statistics about 1.2 billion women entering menopause. And today this topic is spotlighted so much, and that's why we're all here, right? Many other things you said, let's talk about the root cause rather than just the symptoms. So among many things, I think stress is one of the main root cause, right? And as women, we are like sponges at home. We have our own stress to handle, and the family stress. If my husband is stressed, I am stressed. If my children have their own stress in today's era, we observe that also. So my question to all of you in the medical fraternity is there something that you can do in your authority collectively to represent this stress at, say, the WHO level or something, rather than just say it's to be handled individually in pockets? It's your family level, or it's how you respond to stress. There are a lot of unrealistic expectations at workplace today. So it's like a chain reaction. If one of the family members has unrealistic stress, it affects women's menopausal stage even worse. It makes it even worse. So is it something that all of you can represent rather than, just leave it as something you need to deal with?
Right. Lakshmi, just, I mean, take it on from there, please.
Yeah. So the question here is, you understood the question, Hormone, right?
Yeah, of course.
So can the stress be taken at the whole level? Probably it will take time. Are there any action items towards that? In my opinion, there is already a lot of them are taken place, but in terms of execution, it is not happening. So there are two aspects of it. One is, can we do about it? There's a lot of room to do about it. Can we take it to that level? It will take some time, but it can be done.
Are there anything in the pipeline that the medical fraternity has been doing? Or we're always responding to it as how do I handle something rather than you talk about preventive?
So, what has been happening? What has been happening, ma'am, is that earlier, what used to happen, you went to a doctor when everything was starting to explode. Now you have integrated care, you have integrative care, you've got preventive care. And that is exactly what we need to kind of understand, that where does all this start to stem up? It all starts to stem up from your food, from your environments. Epigenetics is very, very important to understand. So instead of having a broad spectrum knowledge, it is important for us to focus our energies on what is being talked about, or what really needs to be kind of brought into our houses. Now, you are women, you've got daughters, you've got, I would say, sons as well. It is important for you to start realizing that Girls are getting into puberty at a younger age. They are getting into hormonal chaos at a much younger age. There are higher chances of PCOS, higher chances of breast cancer, higher chances of hormonal infertility happening. So this is exactly what we are trying to achieve by all these conversations, is that we're trying to normalize so that at least people start to talk about it. What is the point of you surviving in a silo and the girl child is probably, again, okay, fine, you don't talk about it, we don't really discuss all these matters at the family table. It is important for us to start talking about all these matters at the family table. And stress is one of the things that, yes, you cannot just put everything in the stress basket and say, okay, fine, this is stress, this must be stress. You have to quantify it. Lakshmi.
So, I think there are two aspects to it. Whether can the stress be taken at the as a stress and do something about it, but there are layers that has been taken. One such example I will give is right now from the context of menopause in Maharashtra. I think that the number could be
Yes.
here and there. Around 500 clinics
Yes.
was opened for free just for menopause.
Yes.
That is from the government, because right now they understood it as a societal impact, right? And it is just not women as you are impacting, it is impacting your kids, our next generation, it is impacting the family. But more than anything, I would just say, if it's impacting you, that is a bigger impact. What impacts others, I think that could even impact even when you are not sick, right? That is a secondary effect. That could be a cascading effect. So there are layers that has been taken care. Yes, something can we do about it? Of course.
Wonderful. So with that, I would really join my hands, and I would thank first. I would first thank all the audience who have joined us, and from the Global Menopause Collective and NWH side, I would thank all the panelists who took out time, their precious time, to give out this knowledge to the entire audience who's been watching this on YouTube, on LinkedIn, and of course live in Bangalore. And with this, I would really, really appreciate that if we could continue the good work and continue these conversations going further. Thank you so much, Dr. Hitesha. Thank you so much, Shri Vidyaji, Dr. Saujanya, Divyaji.
Thank you, Jay. Thank you,
Thank
Lakshmi.
you. Thank you so
Thank you,
much.
everyone.
Thank
Thank you so
you.
much.
Have a
All the
wonderful
pleasure.
weekend, everyone.
Thank
Same
you.
to
Thank
Same
you,
you,
to
Dr.
you.
Saujanya.
Saujanya.
Yeah, take
Yeah.
care. Bye.
Have
Thank
a
you,
Bye,
great
bye,
everyone.
day.
bye.
Keep connecting.
Right. Bye. Take care. Thank you.
Bye-bye.